right. Hello everyone. This is Josh, also known as Yashu, just tuning into another edition of the TLOY Talks podcast. You can get this on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Buzzsprout, much more. Patreon as well too. When you're on Patreon, different tiers for different links and all that too, different perks. So definitely check out one of them. You might get like exclusive stuff and all that. And yeah, I'm just gonna get it like started right here. So we have like one of the rising acts in the Toronto music scene who's been making waves with tracks like Red and Blue, Quarterback, Cold and Heartless, We Dangerous. Had a very epic performance at Studio of Legends for the Maybach freestyle and all that too. And like he just did a show with like Coded just some like not too long ago and all that. And we have Moneyway 803 in the building. How are you doing today, man?
Cool and just chilling, living the artist life, trying to do this for the first time, see how it goes.
Yeah, man. And I mean, so like I know you reached out to me and like we basically connected, all that type of stuff too. And like I saw like the Studio of Legends like performance and all that too. And I'm just like, like this is like actually like pretty like interesting too, and like just seeing like how like that recognition and like notoriety can like take you like in places and all that too. And I think this is like kind of like your first year or two like rapping and all that too. So I don't know if it's like that was like I think like kind of like the biggest like peak at that time and all that. So
honestly, last 2 years is like when I started taking it seriously. I actually like dropped my first song 2021. Yeah, 2021. And then I dropped 2 more audios and I was like, okay, I can really start doing this shit,
So I guess your fourth year, fourth or fifth year.
2 years seriously deep, and then 2 years just like dibbling, dabbling, trying different styles and shit,
Yeah, that's facts. And I like seeing like the rise and all that, like especially with like young artists too, and like it's amazing to see and all that. And to dive deep, like where'd you grow up and like was it like big for like music at the time and all that?
I grew up in Durham actually, so like at the time, like there were a few artists coming out of like Ajax and Pickering and stuff. Like here and there, they weren't really big, but they're still making a buzz around like the local area. So like I was like, fuck it, I could do this too. Not for like the attention or anything. I just liked writing music and stuff. So I was like, okay, let me see what I can do with this. And I started writing stuff at lunchtime at school and stuff.
All right.
And then yeah, I just started going with it.
Like as you said, like you mentioned that you've done like writing like in high school and all that type. But how did you like get into like music and like who were like some artists or sounds like you kind of like tapped in with?
How I started, I'm gonna start with that first. It's like I had this really close friend of mine in high school, and she was dating this like current R&B artist. I don't want to say names, but like they used to talk a lot. They'd be like, "Oh, just come meet him. We can talk and stuff." And he has a studio, so he can go record. So I'm like, "Okay, bet. Let me see if I can come up with something." I ended up FaceTiming him. We talked and stuff. We became really close and stuff, right? And then he told me just come to the crib one time. Okay, bet. I come to the crib, and then we start like setting up FL Studio. I start learning about DAWs and all that stuff. And then he even told me about like music courses to go business-wise with it, right? So I'm like, okay, there's a lot of game here. I really need to sit down, listen to this shit, and go forward with it.
All right.
So then I made a hook to Gold in My Mouth, that first song on every platform I got out. And then I made the hook. I didn't finish it because I was in grade 11 at the time, right? So this was around December 2020, right? I go there, record the hook. I don't go back until like March to try to finish the verses. This is like 2-3 days before March break at the time for me in school. Then quarantine kicked in. They said, you're going to be here for a week. Okay, 2 weeks go by. 3 weeks go by, a whole month, 2 months. Oh, I have not gone back to the studio since the winter. Summer rolls by, and then I'm like, okay, can I come back and finish the song now? He's like, yeah, for sure, just come. Around July time, then I released a song a little bit later than my birthday in August. So I got that first song out, and then, I just started making a routine. Like, let's just start going to the studio, write more songs, get in the zone, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, true.
Just trying new stuff at the time, testing waters.
That's
what I was doing.
And I guess was it like like regular like studios like Major Music and like Midnight and all that?
It was a basement studio.
Oh sure.
Yeah, it was a basement studio, and you heard the mixes on those songs if you done your research. Like they were not bad to put out at the time. So I'm like, okay, now it's time to step it up. I started going to Midnight Studios in Scarborough after that because bro was in school and stuff. He was busy, couldn't record me all the time. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start dibbling, dabbling, see which studio I can fuck with, what engineer I can click with, you know? And then I got with what's his name? Proj Liddy.
All right.
Yeah, that was my first engineer. I started working on stuff with him. Nothing that I dropped actually, just experimental. And then I started going to the city more because after my parents split, I started living in Toronto more, being in the city and like the fast-paced atmosphere. And I'm like, okay, so let's find a studio down here because I wasn't close in the east as much anymore. So then I found Casa Recording, and my homie Caleb, the wizard, bro. This guy is the GOAT. I'll come in there for 2 hours, 3 hours. I'll punch out 3-4 songs, ready to go. Like I clicked with Caleb. That's my twin, and then I've just been going to Casa ever since. You know? So
yeah, that's facts, man. And what inspired you to even like become a rapper and like even like take it seriously and all that?
I don't know. Like at the time when I was a kid, like I just thought it was so cool. Like, damn, like y'all really get to go tour all over different countries, different states, provinces, like go explore the world just because you wrote music down on your notes app and went to the studio and recorded it and you get paid for that shit? Fuck. That's goated. I was like, okay, bet. I could do this too. It's not that crazy. And then became normal to me. I just started doing it.
Oh, for sure. And like I was like watching, I think like one clip of you and like you talked about like your influences like being like Uzi, Uno, and I think another artist too. But are those like artists that you want to like work with like someday musically, or do you have like a whole like roster of like artists you want to work with?
I don't particularly like have a roster, but there's some artists in the industry that I'd really like to work with. Uzi's a top goal. I could definitely say that. Uzi, top goal. I just started listening to him when he burst onto the scene. And that's when a lot of people were really iffy on that type of genre, where they're like, oh, if it's not rap, hard bars, heavy, slow beats, you're not doing it, bro. You guys are not going to last. Now take a look at that. It's a whole generational shift right now. Everyone's trying to go underground. Everyone's trying to do some melodic stuff. Yeah. Try something new, right? So I'm like, okay, that like he's the pioneer of that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'd like to pay my respects. I used to fuck with him heavy back in the day, and Cardi too.
Okay.
And I could not pull a Cardi feature. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. Uzi, maybe. He's generous, and he likes Toronto if you think about it. He's been collabing with a couple people here for a minute.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, we got those. I fuck with Jay Critch from New York.
All right.
Yeah, Jay Critch is cold. Someone different I would see myself making a song with, if it's possible. Party Next Door.
Okay.
I definitely have some R&B songs in the vault. You know, like, again, I want to try collabing with as versatile artists as possible, because you want every listener in this game, right? You want all the eggs in the Easter basket. Like, you need every single group of like each type of listener, right? You want someone that can listen to your sad shit. You want someone that can listen to your turn up shit. You want someone that can listen to facts.
Yeah.
You can go like spitting bars and you can be talking about the realest thing, or you can just be making club music.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm the type of guy to do both.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want every listener in this game. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, that's facts, man. And I mean, Uzi just dropped like Eternal Take 2 and all that. And I don't know if you actually had like a chance to like listen to that, or is it like something that might have like kind of like lessened your expectations on how it like would have been and all that?
Not really. Because he's probably just in a different phase, trying new shit. Not everybody likes what you put out sometimes. Again, remember, if you're an artist, like, not everything you put out is for everybody, right? So there might be a certain crowd that might say, holy shit, this stuff is like 10 out of 10. Like, this nigga got it. You know what I'm saying? Then the next second, bro, this guy's ass, get him out of here, all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always divided 50-50. But if you hit that sweet spot as an artist and you drop that song and you know what, like, for example, you'll get all the brackets that this group likes. You'll get all the brackets that this group likes, mash it together. So there's pros and cons to each, and then they both end up liking your song,
exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
That's why you got to take time and just see what people like, but don't do something that's generic comparing to like other people. You know, you got to look at what they're doing and do the complete opposite.
Exactly.
That's what I like to do.
Yeah, because I remember, like, I know, like, a lot of people, like, raved, like, Pink Tape and, like, Eternal Take, like, when it first came out, because a lot of people didn't have, like, crazy expectations because of, like, the delays and all that, too, but, like, when they finally, like, dropped it, because I think Uzi's, like, non-binary, like, a lot of people, like, kind of, like, raved that thing and all that, and then when I heard, like, Eternal Take, too, like, just, like, from the perspective of, like, reading about it, like, I heard, like, a lot of people really didn't like it as much as opposed to like Chilbe, which is kind of like I think like one of the songs like he's trying to promote and all that. But yeah, I think it all depends on the season too and all that. Like as you said too, because like everyone has like a different season. Like I remembered with the whole like Uzi and Yachty situation, like there were like people that raved Yachty more than Uzi at the time, and then it would be the opposite. Like Uzi would have like a bigger year than Yachty, and it would go like so forth and so forth. It was like kind of like whose fandom was like more better than like the art like than the other and all that. Like who's like which one's like better than like the other like in that sense too. So
Like, which one do I think is
no. I'm just saying like just as a expression. Like a lot of people were like kind of like even debating like on who's like better, like Uzi or Yachty and all that. So
uh honestly, like they're super different.
yeah.
Yachty's got his own type of wave going on right now, and Uzi's got his own wave. So you can't even really compare the artists. So the fact that the fans are really taking the time out their day to compare the like sounds, they're completely different people. How could you really start a fight about that? They both have their pros and cons. Like, for example, one might disappoint the fans for like taking too long to drop. And then the other one is like too cocky to be in front of a camera and in front of fans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But their pros outweigh the cons. So, and again, like I said, they're different. So how could you really compare? I
Yeah.
wouldn't know.
I know what you mean, man. But to even like get back onto you for a bit too, so like what's your creative process like when making music and like what would like a day and like making like music be like for you?
Making music in a day, it's like, okay, if I try to write a song and I'm in the mood to do it, I can definitely start procrastinating. And I'll be like, damn, I'm really trying to finish a song tonight, work on this sick beat I got, and then I'll just lose it. But then on a random day, I'll just be chilling, I'll come home, and then I'll be like, damn, I got some shit to write down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll be like, just write it down and I'll finish the whole song in a day. But then if I can't finish the verse, I'll just finish the hook. And then another song, another beat that I'm feeling, I'll just write the hook for that. So instead of getting one song done in a week, I'll get like 2 songs done, ready to go, memorized, ready to punch in. Then I'll just make a song like that, however I'm feeling. Wordplay patterns, metaphors, all that shit. Like I'll try to incorporate it. And I do need to work on my writing style though. There's always room for improvement. So yeah.
That's facts. And I mean, it's like explained like in a lot of tracks, like Red and Blue, Quarterback, Cold and Heartless, and like We Dangerous, and like they're like different like elements and all that too. So for each of the song like mentioned, like what like inspired you to even like drop those and like what was like that process like?
I say Cold and Heartless so far is my highest streaming one, right? That's like what, almost 6K on Spotify. Small numbers for now. But at the time it was like I just got out of like a relationship. So I was like, okay, Cold and Heartless. Let's just slap a name on it. I started writing the hook. I came up with the melody. And a producer from New York actually sent me the beat. His name's Nene.
All right.
He's got a couple of big songs out with big artists in that area. So he sent me the pack and then he's like, bro, try some shit on this. Okay, bet. Wrote my emotions down on a piece of paper. Well, my notes again. And then I wrote the song, went to homie's basement again, recorded that shit as a draft. Didn't drop it. I went to the studio again. I recorded it, dropped it with a video with my cameraman. Shout out JSOP. Yeah. And then that song was the biggest so far. I shot at the Aga Khan Museum. And then I put it on my page actually. Because I put Red and Blue on 6buzz before. And that was the song I had out before previously. So I'm like, okay. It got like 2K views. My first video on 6buzz. Maybe it'll transition. And it did. So I'm like, okay, so I can really do this shit. Started releasing more. We Dangerous was more of like an experimental song. Like, if you really listen to it, I don't have another song out like that. So I was really just trying a sound that maybe could fit me. And I do have a couple other songs that do sound like it in the vault. But just, I don't know. I shot the video for that one. And then Red and Blue was like a 2-day shoot after that, after We Dangerous. And then I just started trying new styles. Like, again, like you said, they're all different, right? I was in my like, I don't know, like a little phase where I kind of like more upbeat tracks and I like more melodies included with it. Fast bars, quick punch-ins, like fast wordplay. So I was like, yeah, let's try this shit out.
That's facts, man. And
Yeah.
like it's like more like singles than like an album. So
Mm.
like, are you inclined to like drop like an album soon with the amount of
Oh,
singles?
most definitely. Most definitely. Most definitely. Maybe by like not an album, EP.
All right.
I'd probably drop like a 6-song, 7-song EP, 5 songs with just me, and then 2 crazy features. So I would definitely get an EP probably out by the summertime after I got some more videos out, more content. I might even travel back to America again
Okay.
just to go do some stuff.
Yeah, man. And like I know, like in your opinion, do you ever feel like singles have more of a long lasting like impact than albums like nowadays? Or
It depends. It depends what. Let me tell you why. You see, if you drop a single and it sets a tone for the artist and it definitely gets like people looking and stuff, it'll definitely start like pulling in a name for yourself as like a hit single, right? But if you drop an album right after the single, it gives people content to listen to. But if you take too long, your buzz is gonna die out. Let's not lie here. But if you drop an album before the single and there's a hit on that album, the whole album blows up. And then a couple years down the line, if you have another hit album, oh, this guy's a hit maker. He just started off making hits. I don't know. I feel like I wasn't as educated in the music game when I first dropped my singles and knowing when to drop, timing and all that stuff. So now that I kind of have a grasp of it and kind of know how to move from here.
that's facts.
And I don't even have management. I'm all me, out of
Yeah.
pocket, paid out of pocket. I'm going to all these music video shoots, all these sessions paid by me. No labels pushing me. I'm pushing me.
That's
You know what I'm
facts.
saying?
Yeah. 'Cause I know like with some artists too, like it all depends on like how like that algorithm like works and all that too. Like I had like an artist like a long time ago like named like NLN who said like who was like dropping like singles like every other day, like no album, like nothing like that. And he said that it kind of helps gravitate to know when you're at a point like when you're famous like in life and all that too. Like when you've made it like that people know your name, like maybe that could be that point like when that album like drops and all that. And like some people like they play along with it, like see how it works. Others it's like I'd rather drop like these like continuous like projects and such to kind of build like a community, like depending on the situation also.
Uh, I just feel like, you see, like the EP again, like I said, I may drop it. It's not 100%, but if it does go like through and pulls more numbers, I would do a following up like album. And like I said, summer, right? I wouldn't mind dropping it by 2026. That's if I have a good buzz by then.
Okay.
If not, I'd have to postpone it. Like I don't give workout unless like, for example, like if there's no traction or no nothing, I will work on getting that traction back up. Then I'll give you the music, you know? Because nowadays being an artist is not just putting out music, it's doing content. You have to be a whole like social media presence,
Yeah, that's facts.
right? So I have to just get back to doing that. Because I know I did take a break before I started doing the quoted show and I came back for a bit. Now I'm doing the podcast, you know?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, man.
So,
And I mean the name like Moneyway 803, like that's actually like a pretty interesting name. So how'd you like manage to get that name?
the A0, honestly, from now on, I'm going to start dropping the 803. It's just going to be straight Moneyway because it's shorter, catchier, you know? But the A03 is like my birthday. I was born August 3rd, 2003, right? So August is the 8th month of the year, and 03 is the year. 803, right?
Yeah.
And then Moneyway was just my Instagram name in high school. I was just like, let's just stay original, run with it. Even though it's not really an original name, you hear Moneyway some places. Some people told me to rebrand. I might do a small rebrand down the line, but like, I don't know. I already like stuck with the name this long. I even got a chain for the name. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah.
like, why would I change it now? If I can become the only Moneyway that people think about, fuck, I'll make it a reality. You know what I'm saying? I might as well. There could be 10 other Moneyways, but like, come on, bro.
All depends on like the brand and all that too. You know, man?
Exactly.
I mean, I'm born in like 1996. I'm like an old head, like to like the boat and all that, like almost like close to like 32. So like when I speak with like these like younger artists too, it's like interesting to like know how their journey like within their creativity and like when like you know within their journey like it like leads on to something like bigger and better and all that too. You know, so
Mhm.
yeah, man. And I mean, how did you like even like link up with like Studio of Legends to perform like the Maybach freestyle? Because that's like kind of like one of the biggest like platforms out like right now and all that, you know?
Honestly, like, all love to Studio of Legends, and the video came out clean, but it was a little like kind of a shitty process, to be honest. I'll tell you why. It was on both parts. It was on me as well because like the song that I originally shot there was an original clip that did not make the final cut, right? The actual video with the
Yeah.
song. The song wasn't mixed properly enough, and I wanted to go back, touch it up, and I took long with it on my behalf, right? But then the main reason why I wanted to change the video because they misspelled my name, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, I'm not Moneywave. I clearly told you guys my name and it says it on the file. You guys should know. You should be more organized about this
Yeah.
stuff, right? But it was a smooth process. I texted them. They would take a while to get back. I know they're a busy platform. They are probably the one of the biggest open mics in Canada, right?
Yeah.
So you can't even hate them for that. But I just feel like it could have been dealt a bit smoother, a bit better. But I did get a bunch of traction off that. A lot of people still message me to this day like, yo, that shit was hard. So I'm like, appreciate it. Shout out to Studio Legends though, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Did any blog pages or like any big artists like tap in with you like just because of the song like itself?
Big artists?
Like,
I can't say too much. But podcasts and like pages, you reached out. Thank you, first of all. Quoted, seen me. And I've been had like other media pages on lockdown before. Like I still talk to like Six Sounds, Hotspot TV, Six Buzz. So I'm like, you know, I still already kind of had the connections from before, but now it's like, okay, now you got to start getting used to seeing me around more often, you know?
yeah, that's facts, man. And like, you know, like even like with the idea of like the underground scene too, because I think you're a part of it too. So how do you feel about like the state of the Toronto underground scene, like especially with platforms like Quoted, First Class, DieselCon, Vampire's Prom, Social Outcast, like they're taking over with these like shows and all that. So
I'll be honest, I've never been to any of those events except for DieselCon and Quoted's events, right? And the other ones, I do like know about them. I see their pages and stuff. Like they're doing their thing, right? And they're pushing their artists and stuff and the shows and the events that they do. Shout out to Diesel because Diesel really is like putting a name for Canada right now at the moment. But Quoted, I could say he's a bit more local, but he's still doing his thing though. Like
Yeah.
that show had people there. That show really had people there. So I'm like, I like going to events and stuff. I think it's a good thing, but certain platforms in today's world in Toronto rap, it's like if you don't fit a certain niche, there's no market for you.
yeah, exactly.
But somewhere else, there could be a whole fan base. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing about today in this certain city. It's very different from America. And other couple times I went down there, they started talking about like, bro, it's a whole different world out there. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's how you guys really think about this place? Like, it's not that crazy, but I do get what they're saying though. We share the same land, but it's like the border really does separate
exactly.
the worlds. You know what I'm saying?
And like I mean like a lot of like the artists like on like the whole Toronto underground stuff, like they're getting like that traction too. Quasi being one of them,
Yep.
Kato's Eye and all that, like friggin' I think Aiden Skira, I think like he's like getting like some traction. Virgo Parks, like a lot of them are doing like a lot of like these like shows and all that, and like they're getting like these like huge cosigns from like On the Radar and like Six Buzz and like Keep Six Solid and all that too, and like even like meeting people like Sean, like Desmond and all that sort of stuff too. So it is like amazing to see and all that. So
I actually tapped in with Virgo a couple of times. Like every time after he was like performing at a show, and I'd talk to him after. I'd be like, "Yo, like your set was clean, bro. Like you know, like just giving good energy." And then Quasi, way back in the day when I dropped We Dangerous, I sent him the little flyer repost. Now, like we just started talking about it, and yeah, like I guess he was fucking with the song. So
yeah,
shout out Quasi.
yeah, man, that's facts. And like to even like speak about the Quoted show and all that, like how did that like come about and like how was that experience like, you know, just performing at that show?
Going on Quoted,
Yeah.
I was actually like running around the area near like where I live, and he had a little like small show at Tail of the Junction, and there's a 7-Eleven right beside it.
All right.
Usually I'll just do like a night run, go smoke a spliff, go buy a snack at 7-Eleven before I go punch in on my home studio. So I'm like, let me go see what's at the Tail of the Junction because I do see a lineup. Then I go outside, they're doing public interviews. I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Let me hop on one right now. I'm an artist too, damn. So I hopped on the podcast. I'm sorry, not podcast, a public interview, and then Quoted was like, yo, what you said was dope, bro. You're an artist? I'm like, yeah. So I tapped in with him, and it was like October, November at the time. He's like, I have a show coming up in January. You got to come to that, bro. I like your energy. So I'm like, okay, cool. Gave him my socials, gave him my personal numbers, you know, like all that. We started communicating more, and then shout out Quoted. He just got me on the show list. And then everybody started seeing, like, bro, I see this flyer on my For You page. Like, you're on my For You page, bro. I'm like, yeah, come watch my show. And then they came to see the show. Some people came, some people didn't, unfortunately, but there's going to be another one coming out soon. Shout out Quoted. We're going to get a new show soon. Trust me.
That's facts, man. And like, how would you like even define your role like in the Toronto underground scene, like, and the impact you made?
Minor. Why? For now. For now, it's minor. Trust me. Give me a bit. Let me get the stone rolling. Let me get some cosigns. Then we can talk about that stuff in a year or two.
Yeah, and I think like what you said, like I think in like the public interview too, like it's like, you know, it's people need the engagement, all that, you know, commenting, liking, all that sort of stuff too. So do you feel like it's like very important for people to like even tap in doing all that type of stuff to kind of getting the artist like recognition and all that?
Definitely. Definitely. You do need that stuff because like there's a certain point where there's like engagement and then there's trolling online. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe if it's a mix of both to get people like riled up to read the comments and have a laugh while they're reading it, or like they just want to know what you're about. It's good to have both, but you got to have like a certain type of engagement. Like you can't just have random artists like commenting on your shit. Nah, you got to have brand names on your roster. You know what I'm saying? You got to have well-known people to back your name up. Like, yeah, this guy's solid. This guy's really putting heat out. You know what I'm saying? And if you come through with that type of energy and that type of image, everybody in the room is going to be like, damn, who the fuck's that nigga just walking in the room like, it's that guy? Oh shit, I've seen him on my phone before. I've seen him everywhere. And when you have that type of like prestige image, that crisp image, definitely people are going to take you more seriously than the guy's been working in this shit for like 6-7 years and he still hasn't hit 30K followers yet. Because they're serious, but they're not serious. They'll be serious in their hometown, but they don't want to step out boundaries, go to new cities, meet new people, get on different platforms. You know what I'm saying? I know about this shit because I'm very observant. Not a lot of artists can say that. They'll just be like, I go with the flow. I see what happens. No, I watch shit. I don't talk about it, but I watch shit and I calculate a plan. I try to see how I can come up with stuff, execute it accordingly. That's what I need to do, and that's what I'm doing this year.
That's facts, man. And I mean, the Toronto Canadian like music scene is like very interesting right now too. But in your opinion, like, how do you feel about it? Like at the moment, do you feel like that there should be some changes on the direction of where the scene should go, or do you feel like it's like fine the way it is?
I can say it has been growing. It's definitely been like growing, but we are still way behind America. They're number one, right? They're entertainment city. They're entertainment country. Their whole country's a movie. Take it in. Like even their politics is way more funnier than ours. Like their politics is like a fucking show. Like how the hell is Donald Trump's gonna be at a rally and someone's trying to take him out, grazes his ear? Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that shit up here. But for them, it's like that's their life. Entertainment, all that type of stuff. Over here, it's here. And we do have a name for Toronto. We have some big names coming out of Canada, historically and present day. Yeah. Right? But I don't know. I feel like media-wise and all that, we're still kind of behind. And what to do to fix it? We need more people, more local people getting big and co-signing us. You know what I'm saying? We don't need no Americans. We don't need no Europeans. We don't need the British people to come over. Like all the UK rappers and stuff saying Canada's hard, this and that. No, we need Canadians saying that stuff is hard. We need our own people to say that's hard, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think Nav did that when he saw like the Houdini music video for To Myself and all that. Like I remembered when that happened, like I just like tapped into like Houdini like immediately and all that, like the music, everything else too. And like it all depends on the situations. Like some do it on a smaller level, others like kind of do it on a bigger level depending on the situation. So
I feel like, I don't know. Like shout out to Nav. He's tough and he's been like an OG name for the city. He's been that guy when he started coming out. But I just feel like now that he's a bit more famous, he's a bit more low-key. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Drake shouts out Toronto artists more often. He'll just be hanging around with all the locals and you just see Nav alone, just chilling. But that, like, remember, each person has their persona in this industry and how they are as a person too. Yeah. And again, sometimes there is no friends in the industry too, exactly, right? Yeah. So you got to be careful around who you hang because, again, who you're with, what your brand stands for. Like, you just got to be real careful in this stuff. Yeah. Be cautious with every step.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. And like it's amazing to even like hear like even like these like words too and all that. And to because we have like a couple questions like left for a bit too. So I usually have a playlist called like the TLOS like Rising Acts like playlist where I have like music from like artists from the podcast along with like other interviews and other content and like also artists in the States, other people like that have like recent songs. So do you have any like free songs that you want to from like your catalog that you'd like to recommend for any person that hasn't heard about you before or that would like to know more about you that we could like add to the playlist and all that?
Uh, Cold and Heartless. If you want like a calm song to like drive home with, listen to the lyrics, be like, damn, okay. Cold and Heartless. And Red and Blue if you're trying to get a little turned up. If you really want to just blast your speakers, like go crazy in the car, you definitely got to listen to the Spin Again remix I did. It's on Six Buzz. And then, yeah. But again, like I said, those are outdated. Actually, no, I didn't say that. My fault. Those are outdated sounds. I don't sound like those songs anymore. I try to do different stuff now. And in the next couple months, I'm going to be dropping some new stuff. Maybe even by the end of January, I'll definitely get a visualizer and maybe first week of February, a brand new music video. So yeah,
That's
lots of
fine.
stuff coming on the way.
Yeah, that's facts, man. And do you have any plans for this year? Like, I know we're on to 2025 right now, like heading to February and then all the other months too. Like, do you have any like music, creative projects, and so forth coming up? And do you have any like closing remarks you'd like to say and all that?
Creative projects. I'm working with a lot of artists right now compared to like how it was last year. It's a whole different jump. Shout out to my homie Burga, New Tech, Peasy, all three of us, or four of us, my fault. We're all gonna try different songs here and there. I have songs with New Tech and fucking Peasy, but me and Burga most definitely have to make some music. Me and my homie Kai, it's Kai and Prophet. Oh my god. I don't know if you guys know them, but they're really putting on a name for Durham right now in the East End. You know what I'm saying? And but I definitely want to work with those. Those are my industry friends right now. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely want to work with them and get them on my EP maybe, and then fucking work with more show organizers. I'm trying to get with Catalyst. I was supposed to go with Catalyst back when they did their Swappa show. I was supposed to open, but I was in America by the time. I was literally on the drive on the way to America.
Yeah.
And Catalyst is texting me, yo, you can come by and whatever. I'm like, fuck, I can't, bro. I definitely want to work with Catalyst. Shout out to him. It was bad on my part. My fault, Catalyst. Don't get mad at me, bro, please. But basically, like, yeah, definitely work with Catalyst. I want to get on much music. Definitely much music. I want to get on the radar so bad. I need that on the radar. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, 100% I could really kill some shit if I hop on there. Run a quick 2-minute, 40-second song with 2 beats in it.
Yeah.
What? Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
no, that's facts. I mean, PKM, I know like they're like kind of like the rising act out of like Pickering right now too. Like I know PKM or something like that. Like I know it's like a Pickering like drill thing.
Oh, those kids you see like on the TikToks.
Yeah.
No, I don't talk to any of those guys, bro. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I think like that's like kind of like one of the recent stuff that's going on in Pickering nowadays. I think this kid named Ubba Bubba or something like that, like kind of co-signed them like when he was like, doing like one of these like YouTube videos. So
I do not talk to none of those guys. I mean, if they're doing their own thing, hey, good for you guys. Keep pushing your shit, but I don't associate with them.
yeah, that's facts, man. But yo, Moneyway, it was dope having you on and all that. Just having like this like great conversation, get to know more about you, and like definitely want to see like a rise like within your sound and artistry and all that. And like, we'll definitely support either way, So
appreciate it. Thanks for like having me and stuff. And yeah, I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, man, that's facts. Definitely have you back on, like, if we have the chance soon and all that. But yeah, man, likewise.
100%.
Wishing nothing but the best, But yo, this is Josh, also known as Yashu, with another episode of TLOY Talks. You can get this on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Buzzsprout, Patreon, much more. Check out Moneyway's music on all platforms, on Spotify, on YouTube. You can also check out the Maybach freestyle on the Studio of Legends YouTube channel. Like, definitely give it some views. Definitely give some likes, comments, shares, all that type of stuff too.
Shout out Studio Legends.
Either way, and definitely check out his shows like when he's like popping out like in the city and all that. And yeah, man, I mean, it's Josh, also known as Yashu with Moneyway, signing off,